Okay, so I just spilled water like all over my pants, but I guess I'm gonna start this. Alright, Megami Ibunaroku Persona. Be Your True Mind. It is the first in a long series of spin-off games coming from Atlus's mainline SMT series. The game had a Western release titled Revelations Persona in the same year of 1996. However, the Western release saw the removal of a secondary route to the game, the Snow Queen Quest. After a re-release, the Snow Queen Quest had a revamped Western release, and that's what I'm gonna be playing today. I'm gonna emulate it, just out of ease of use for recording. So yeah, now the whole Max Ambrosia part comes from an item in the game called Ambrosia. You get this by doing the dungeons in the hardest way possible, from Thanatos Tower to Nemesis Tower to Hypnos Tower. Yeah. Pretty cool. So, what makes this game really tough is that it's simply a numbers game. And the hardest tower basically has, highest level enemies. So in the beginning, it's going to suck. But after that, should be okay. Now, I am going to be playing this on normal mode, so that's not quite a challenge. But I did play this the easier route on easy mode, and it still sucked. So it's going to be quite the challenge for myself, at least. Um, yeah, and some additional rules are that I can make save states at like calm places, I guess is the best way to describe it. Places where there are no random encounters. Um, and before boss rooms, so I don't lose all my progress. That's a bit cheap, but you know what? Whatever. Additionally, I have to collect all 12 mirror shards, which, won't be too tough, but that is sort of how the game is meant to be played. You only need 8, but, that'll, spice it up a little bit, add some challenge, I guess. I don't even know. And yeah, that's about it. It's time to start the game. The scene is set in a storage room in the school where our group of friends, consisting of Mark, Nanjo, Brown, Ellie, Ayase, Yukino, and the main character, whole bunch of names, are testing out the Persona game. Some occult Bloody Mary junk. Really, they just call out their personas, walk in the square, and then they don't pass out. They get some wacky dream with Philemon. I don't really remember what he said. It was some inspirational garble. And he gives you a persona. Thank you, Philemon. Very kind of you, sir. Now here's the moment I've been dreading. The character naming screen. I decided to go for the funny meme and name Earring Boy Funny Pug Video with Obro as a nickname. Funny and the gang wake up in the nurse's office where you are greeted by your teacher, Miss Psycho. Kind of sounds like Psycho. Not really the same thing, though. She tells you to go meet your friend, Maki, who has been hospitalized for a long time. The homies waltz on up to the hospital and you go see Maki. She tells you that her mom is missing and, like, in a shrine or something. Yeah, you hear a big screech and whoa, it's apocalypse time. So yeah, all of a sudden, there are now demons and zombies and whatever stupid anime monstery things are here. But yeah, you leave the hospital room, and then you're like, whoa, we should check on Maki. Then it's like, whoa, the room's gone. It's kind of confusing. Don't really get it. So yeah, demons or something. Get into a random encounter. Awaken to your persona that Philemon gave you. So does the rest of the game. And then the gang heads over to the shrine where we find Maki's mom. Now, here, kind of thought I'd messed up. Because originally, before you go to Maki's mom, everyone says, oh, you want to collect a bunch of spell cards. And why you got to do that before you see Maki's mom is that, your party members leave you after you check out and see Maki's mom. So yeah, I kind of thought this run was basically done after that, but I did some grinding after we saw Maki's mom, told us some delicious exposition about the Sebek Corporation. That doesn't really matter though, because we're not doing the Sebek route. Yeah, so Mark and Nandra leave the party, which does make it impossible to recruit some demons for a while, which is why I was pretty scared about the run just from this point on. I did some grinding though, got to level 23. It took me 13 hours to get this far because the demons were just so low level for grinding, but it's gonna really pay off later. Now once we enter the school again, this is time to trigger the Snow Queen quest. It's basically just a confusing series of fetch quests where you talk to this occult-obsessed kid named Tsutomu, but everyone just calls him Devil Boy. After wandering around the school, you gain some knowledge about the curse of the Snow Queen. So get this, there's like this super cool school play that they used to do where the lead role of the Snow Queen had to wear this mask thing, but everyone who wore the mask eventually died. Until your epic teacher, Miss Psycho, lived through playing the part. Eventually, you find the Snow Queen mask and decide to show it to Miss Psycho. For whatever reason, this obviously, couldn't in the slightest go bad. So, of course it does. The mask attaches itself to Miss Psycho, and she is possessed by the Snow Queen. The school gets all icy and cold, and you can't really leave. Man, what a great idea it was to open up that box with the mask in it, and then show it to the teacher. Like, you were just asking for this, Mr. Obro Funny Pug Video. Sorry about that name. Alright, we have another chat with my boy Philemon. He gives us the wacky broken mirror, and we gotta collect all 12 mirror shards to save our teacher. That's something in, like, the Snow Queen myth thing where, like, the mirror shards broke and, like, got into everyone's, like, faces or whatever, made them, like, negative or I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've seen Frozen 2. So now we can actually recruit some party members and buy stuff from vendors in the first floor of the Ice Castle. After declining Nadinjo space in the squad, Funny and the gang go pick up Ellie and head to the cafeteria. Here we find Toro, the resident big chonker. Why did I write this in my script? Threatening to eat all the food and starve everyone stuck in the school, because Ayase let him down hard when he confessed his love to her. It says play that clip of me noticing it's Mara. Oh yeah, his persona is Mara. Okay. Is that another form of Mara? Of course it's Mara. Of course it's Mara. Wow, what an awakening fight that was. So yeah, Taru realizes the error of his ways and backs off. Gang also guilts Ayase for hurting the real G, Toru's feelings. Oh yeah, and the Chad Brown joins the squad. Now we got a full party consisting of Funny, Yukino, Ayase, Ellie, and Brown. Take the gang to the casino and do some gambling. After about half an hour of some save state abuse, I buy a fusion item with my chips that lets me get the skill Megidoleon on any persona that I fuse the item with. This thing will hard carry me for the rest of the game. Having Megidoleon at level 25 is an insane help. Megidoleon is the highest tier of nuclear damage in Persona 1, and that's not something you would get for a very long time. And if we're going to be doing the dungeons in the hardest order, it's kind of a must-have. And with that, we're ready to step into the Thanatos Tower. Now, this dungeon is so difficult because when a character dies, they lose the ability to use a persona until you go to a subsection of the dungeon located on the second floor called Tartarus. That means if you die on the 6th floor, you cannot use your persona until you make it all the way back down to the 2nd floor. Don't forget that if you don't have a persona, you have no magical resistance, and will end up taking around 5,600 damage, at my level at least. Additionally, there's a curse on the Thanatos Tower that basically just makes all healing items and magic weaker. But wait, there's more. At the very start of the dungeon, you have to either sacrifice Main, funny, bug video, Obro, nice name, or Yukino's persona if you want to enter the dungeon. You can still get it back at Tartarus though, but it's on the 2nd floor, subsection of the dungeon, or whatever it's called. Lastly, all the enemies start at level 35 and go all the way up to 44, when my squad is currently at level 25. Oh, and there's also a 3-hour time limit, but that only counts down when you are in the first-person dungeons, and basically you will never run out because you can just go in a random encounter and it doesn't tick down. Yeah, this is gonna be a real chore. I can basically lose my entire party if the enemy gets the jump on me. And until I get to Tartarus, Yukino is useless. Did 5,000 damage or whatever. Upon entering the tower, you are greeted by Yuriko, who used to be a very popular idol back in the day, and coincidentally also played as the Snow Queen. She's very bubbly and excited to play this quote unquote game with you. I hate her guts for being the only competent tower guardian, but yeah, cool character. So the first few random encounters, I get absolutely obliterated, and have to start the dungeon again about 4 times. After getting thoroughly beaten up by Yuriko's demons, I develop a plan. Basically, just contact spam to make the demons happy, so they leave me alone until I get to Tartarus. Once at Tartarus, grind until about level 30 or so, and continue with the tower. This way I will actually be able to take on most random encounters, and if I do die, I'm right next to Tartarus. Which, by the way, I'm putting a save state at, because if not, this would be, take more than 7 hours like it already did. Fortunately, the dungeon's actual layout is pretty easy to follow, and other than a little hiccup on floor 2, I make it to Tartarus with only Obro and Ellie still having their personas. Boy, was that a struggle. But hey, getting to Tartarus really is the biggest challenge of this dungeon. And now I can grind free. There's also 4 of those nifty mirror shards in Tartarus alone. I really got pretty lazy with this placement already. The gang finds 3 in chests and another one that some other schoolgirl had taken from a chest. So we just paid her 5,000 yen for it. Kind of a ripoff, not gonna lie. I mean, it's literally just a piece of glass. Well, tangent aside, we reach a pretty comfortable level and decide to keep going through the next floors. Megidolion hard carries us until we get to some vendors and can buy literally the best guns in the game. This dungeon is super rewarding if you are able to complete it first. Makes the rest of the game a total cakewalk and is satisfying after about 6 hours of pain. Floors 4 to 6 are literally some of the easiest dungeon floors to traverse that I've found in a JRPG. Somewhere on the 6th floor, there's a room with Yuriko in it. She tells us that we can basically take a gamble. One chest has a mirror shard in it, and the other has squat. And also teleports us back to Tartarus. Yeah, thank God for game facts. Imagine playing this in 1996 and having to redo over half of that dungeon just because of luck. Lol. Yuriko congratulates us and lets us pass to continue on to the 7th floor, where we can all beat her to death. Upon arriving in the boss room, she tells us that we cannot beat her to death because she's already dead. Wow. Apparently, the Snow Queen offered her eternal beauty if she died, so then Yuriko just died, I guess. Yeah, maybe that character sounds significantly less cool now that I've said that, but it's better if you actually play the game. Yuriko offers Ayase eternal beauty the same way the Snow Queen did to Yuriko. Ayase declines and does some wacky character development, and then the boss fight starts. This boss fight is a piece of cake compared to the difficulty of the rest of the dungeon. The only real thing you gotta look out for is that to start out with, the boss can attack 7 times. But once you whittle down the number of Thanatos' tentacles, it becomes far easier. Thanatos itself can only really use status effects and death instant kills moves, so if you have some revival beads, it works out fine. The boss goes down, and we get to learn a bit more where Yuriko's coming from. She also gives us a mirror shard, and with that, the Thanatos Tower has been conquered. And man, that sucked in the beginning. I cannot convey in words how stoked I was when I finally beat that thing. Obro and friends return to the ice castle with half the mirror shards remaining, 3 Ambrosia, and 2 more towers to conquer. Nice. Next up is the Nemesis Tower. Really no prep work is necessary because this place is very easy. The only thing that could make it a pain is if you don't reach the boss in under 20 minutes of first-person dungeon crawling time. Because if it takes you longer than 20 minutes, the boss gets significantly harder and is located on the 7th floor of the dungeon instead of the 5th. Now, if you somehow manage to take an hour before getting to the 7th floor, the boss will also now be much, much harder, and on the 9th floor. Not worth. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty smooth sailing. So once you enter the Nemesis Tower, you are greeted by the Tower Guardian, Michiko. She's pretty snooty and obnoxious. In your brief time talking to her, she also makes a point of reminding you that you can take your time in this dungeon. She does this a lot. This dungeon is legit so easy. I did it in 19 minutes. Really, there's not much special about it. A couple floors in the dungeon, you find quite a gruesome torture room where Sutomo and Toro are not having a good time. Tsutomu is forced to do push-ups on spikes and complains about how his body isn't made for them. Not very chatty, devil boy. Toro is practically drowning in milk, too, so that's the thing. Pretty gross to see. Not gonna lie, I didn't like seeing this. Michiko pops up and tells us that she basically gains power from negative feelings or something. I don't really know. Oh, she also says that she's torturing the lads because they are ugly. That's pretty rich coming from Michiko. Ha 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 ha. I misspelled huh. That's pretty sad. She also gives the gang the opportunity to go through the right door and get a mirror shard, or go through the left and help get to Tsutomu and Taro faster. I take the more protagonist choice and jump through that left door. We make our way to the boss room where Michiko gives us even less of a reason to feel bad for her. So apparently Michiko bought her way to the role of the Snow Queen and wants us to feel bad for her because she is rich or something. Instead, Funny chooses to beat her up. The boss battle is very easy. Nemesis doesn't really have any strong attacks, so it's just a cakewalk. Coolest thing about the fight, though, is that Michiko's persona, Nemesis, surrounds her like a suit of armor. Wish more did that. It's kind of neat. So, we beat her up, gain a mirror shard, and another Ambrosia. We have officially conquered the Nemesis Tower. Told you that'd be easy. Oh, and you're probably wondering why I didn't take Michiko up on the whole mirror shard deal, right? Well, if you had fallen for her trap, you would have received one mirror shard, and then you would be sent back to the beginning of the dungeon. Even worse than this is that if you promptly go deal with Michiko, Tsutomu and Toru will reward you with 2 mirror shards, so if you had fallen for Michiko's trap, you wouldn't be able to get all 12. Next, I head to Devil's Peak. This is a dungeon in Snow Queen quest, aside from the main 3 towers, that unlocks different parts of the tower after you complete each tower respectively. Tower. I'm mostly going to Devil's Peak so I can get spell cards to fuse a Lilum with Estoma. Lilum is a ridiculously powerful persona because it absorbs nearly all forms of magic, and I want to get Estoma because it reduces the encounter rate of low-level enemies. I'll fuse the Lilum up and head out of Devil's Peak. There's really no point to be here other than to grind, and I'm about 30 levels over what I need to be for the next dungeon anyways. Next dungeon being Hypnos Tower. The Hypnos Tower starts off a little different from the rest of the towers. The Guardian is a bit shy at first until you get in her way. Since I have a Stoma on and I'm so overleveled, it's just a straight line to the top. Well, until I run across a room with the school nurse and 2 students laying unconscious. They seem to be murmuring in their sleep about specific dreams. Funny Squad decides to leave them alone for now, and we go about another 5 paces before we find another room similar to the last. But this time the principal and vice principal of St. Hermelin are passed out on the floor. Yet again, the gang just kind of stare at them before moving on to the next room. Luckily, there are no side characters that I don't care about in this room. Oh wait, it's Philemon. So yeah, Philemon tells us that there's a dream world within this dungeon, and we have the choice between progressing up the floors of the tower or saving side characters from sleep. Of course, I end up doing both extremely easily. Thank you, Philemon. Very cool. Additionally, there's a door to a dream world, which is basically a mini dungeon where you wake everybody up that was sleeping in the previous rooms. The dream world is very short, however, and basically just lets you see into the minds of these smooth-brained side character fools. You pinch everyone, thus waking them up, and keep moving on. Then Funny comes across a dream that doesn't belong to any of the people you know. This person dreaming here is the guardian of the Hypnos Tower, Kumi. She pleads with you to not pinch her, but you have no choice since she's not wearing green. Sorry, girl. It's the law. After that wacky segment, we return back to the real world. Obro goes to check up on everyone he pinched and gets 2 mirror shards in the process. Yay! Now back to the extremely easy dungeon. It's not even confusing layout or anything. But yeah, it takes a solid 6 more floors before stuff starts getting real upon entering the boss room. Once you get there, the same girl we pinched, Kumi, introduces herself as the final tower guardian. Wait, she kind of already did that, but she does it again, I guess. She offers us the option of eternal dreaming, which we deny, because protagonist things, and then the boss fight starts. This fight is pretty much the easiest in the game. All Hypnos does is spam status effects and sometimes use a melee hit or low-level magic. I just hit the auto gun button and left to go grab a Capri Sun. When I came back, it was on the level up screen. Nice. Kumi tells us how she also had the role of the Snow Queen back in the day, But with the pressure from her parents put on her, having to lead a role and keeping up with school was too much for Kyumi. So in turn, the Snow Queen offered her the ability to live in a dream world where she didn't have any problems, really. Kyumi accepted that offer, and that's basically how she's here now. The gang all make fun of her for not taking responsibility for her problems, and then they leave the Hypnos Tower. Pretty ruthless. With all Ambrosia, mirror shards, and towers conquered, all we now must do is save Miss Psycho from the Snow Queen. We head to the school courtyard where we use the completed mirrors to free Miss Psycho from the icy stuff. The Snow Queen mask comes off of her face, and out of it, the real last Snow Queen shows up. She's got like a burnt face or something. So yeah, before the game gives us a chance to find out what that is, it's boss fight time. Not gonna lie, this fight actually took me a couple of tries. Probably the hardest Persona 1 boss. The only thing that made it difficult really was that most of my party was weak to Mabufu Dying, and the rest were weak to Heavenly Hit, which are both some of Lady Masquerade's favorite moves. This wasn't really a problem, because I could just res the party with the people who absorb Ice or Heavenly Hit respectively. But that didn't last for long with my limited amount of reviving items. So yeah, that led to my first party death since Thanatos Tower. Next attempt went really smooth. Didn't use many Mabufu dives, and I just kinda had Ayase carry me with Magnara, which dealt way more damage than Megidoleon for some reason. Well, whatever. As long as you can survive her attacks, Lady Masquerade goes down pretty easily. We find Miss Psycho just chilling on the ground, spouting about some lady called Tomomi. We find out that the burnt-faced girl was controlling the Snow Queen mask, and thus Sayako. Sayako tells us that Tomomi and her were friends back in the day, where we learned that Sayako lost the lead role of the Snow Queen on purpose when she had consistently gotten the previous lead roles. Tomomi gets the part of the Snow Queen and gets those burns and stuff from the mask. Sayako says that she didn't know about the curse, but she admits she purposely lost the role basically just for the flex. I respect it. Now here's where stuff gets even wackier. So it would make sense now that the Snow Queen, Lady Masquerade, is defeated, the ice would melt. Right? The final boss. Right? The big bad that the route is literally named after. Right? Well, turns out that there was another queen that was living in the mask. This was the Night Queen, who was really the real reason why all those girls fell to the temptation of their desires. Yuriko having obtained eternal beauty, Michiko, well, I guess, just got a place to brutally mess with people and flex that she was rich when she was alive. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this character. Kyumi got to take a nap for a fat minute, and Tomomi an opportunity to possess Sayako for revenge. This new mysterious Night Queen gives us the threat of making everyone in the world die forever or something, and then just leaves. So, you guessed it, it's final dungeon time. And, oh boy, this dungeon is so painful, let me tell you. Fun fact, a big reason why I didn't want to do this challenge, or Snow Queen Quest in general, is because I found a Reddit post, showing how confusing this dungeon is. Usually, you should never let a Reddit post turn you away from anything. But, I could have dodged a bullet with this one. Well, whatever. Now, the dungeon starts off pretty tame. All the halls and stuff are pretty manageable, and the random encounters are pretty easy. Even the ones that escape the grasp of my estoma. Things though only start to get messy once you get to floor 5 of the dungeon. It becomes literal pain to get through. But before all that nonsense, we found ya boy, Raiho. Saving grace of this dungeon, I swear, dude. Now this guy is basically the only incentive for completing the maximum Ambrosia run. You can exchange your precious Ambrosia for special fusion items to create the cast's ultimate personas. Alrighty, back to getting beaten over the head by the architects. Floors 5 through 8 are all connected by these spiral staircases. Sounds easy, right? Well, only some of them are connected, meaning if there are 3 accessible stairs on floor 5, there may only be one that brings you to where you want to go, but the same thing can also happen on all 4 of the floors. So basically, I just ran in circles for a while. Yeah, not really a fun time. Like, really not a fun time. Oh, another thing. There's a few rooms around that have Mai and Aki in them from the Sebek route. They give some hints as to what's going on in their side of the story, but really doesn't matter for this story at all. We reach a chill zone with a velvet room where we use that fusion item that we got from Raiho to make Amun-Ra, Funny's ultimate persona. This thing will hard carry for the final dungeon. Once you fully rank it up and learn a move called Hieroglyphianon. Yeah, I probably didn't write this correctly, and yes, I'm writing my script in Discord. The gang does some grinding to get funny to a level where he can actually use Amun-Ra. Now, I could make the rest of the ultimate personas, but I just don't want to grind that much. It's been fun and all, but really, we just not having a funky enough time to reap the rewards of all that time it took scaling those towers. So with Hieroglyphananon, we can finally head up to the boss and we can finally head up to the final boss and confront the true Night Queen, or whatever she's called now. The Queen reveals that she is, in fact, the Night Queen, Nyx, Queen of Night, and yeah, that's the same Nyx at the end of Persona 3. I find that pretty neato. But yeah, the boss fight is pretty straightforward. It's got the same gimmick as Pandora's boss fight at the end of the Sebek route, so basically most damage is halved because I can't be asked to change up the tactics just because the boss is feeling like changing resistances. Now this is where a Hyro something or other, don't do the funny meme where you show a screenshot of the script time, oh wait, you're doing it, oh god, oh frick, oh don't do it, no! This move deals boss damage. No idea how it got that name. But yeah, it basically just exists to make the final bosses a cakewalk and dish out massive damage. The boss, for the most part, spams double Mabufudine, which knocks out all my party other than Ellie and Brown. So then Ellie and Brown can be used to revive them all back, and basically just do that every turn, and I won't ever get a full party wipe. I didn't stock up on Chewing Souls, so once Funny ran out of SP, I just ended up killing the thing with Agidine Stones. So yeah, pretty easy fight if you've got Amun-Ra. And yeah, happy stuff happens now. The pain is over, yada yada. Wait, maybe the real pain is going to be reading this whole script out. It was! All the ice in the school melts, and we can leave without wholesome 100 Big Chunk or Toru boy starving us to death. Miss Psycho admits her wrongdoings to Tomomi and sends us off to take down Kandori. But yeah, that's it. I did it. Wasn't too bad past the Thanatos Tower, other than the awful design of the Ice Castle dungeon. Talk about some ending stuff that's off script. Oh yeah, so we reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching this. If you did, I don't know, man. Thoughts about the game? The game was pretty cool. I like that there's 2 routes to it, you know. I like that Nyx is there. I do like some of the challenge, you know, but I really missed the part where the protagonist like talks to himself about what a good boy he was, about choosing the correct options. I thought that was kind of cool. Sad that's not here in the Snow Queen quest. But yeah, that's just rambling. Well, thank you all, not just who watched this, but the people who inspired this video. A lot of it was inspired by Gnarly and your bud Tevin, who both do Persona challenge runs. I know this isn't on the same scale, but hey man, I got my limits, you know. Alright, that's it. Bye.